and then I came to a mosaic thing. Can I show something or?
Sure.
Is it, you got your mailbox done. Hooray.
Nice.
And it's glass mosaic, and I cut the little pieces and I put them in, and then I grout it like bathroom sink.
Believe.
Barry,
Yeah.
I was saying that I'm sorry you can't tell Wednesday from Friday, and I'd be happy to mail you a calendar.
Well, I have to learn to read as well, remember?
It's always good to see Liz and Carol together.
All right.
Listen, so far the consensus I'm getting is that most people want every second week, and a few people want every third week. So since I'm really the Zoom boss, but we'll ask Phyllis what she thinks. Why don't we make it, if we made it the first and the third Friday of every month, some months have only 4 weeks, so that'll satisfy the people that want it every 2 weeks. And then the months that have 5 weeks, then the people who liked it every 3 weeks will be satisfied. So how about the first and the third Friday of every month? That settle it?
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then we'll have time to talk, okay? The first and third Fridays in December, then we'll have Friday, Christmas Day off. How's that? That fits in perfectly.
Perfect.
Then the first, in the case of January, it'll be the 8th and the 22nd, and then we go on first and third. That's all. We'll see. Well, you know, the thing about life is it's not static. It's always changing, and we're always having to.
Oh, that didn't happen in 2020.
Impermanence. So,
Hey, Joan, I don't want you to sweat that if there's not enough art put in to sweat it. If only two people send art in, do it, and then we talk.
All right. You know, I promise not to sweat it anymore. It's a solemn promise.
Thank you.
15 inches high, 22 inches wide, 7 inches deep. The middle piece is made out of avocado wood, and it was actually cut off of a log that I had, and it was actually attached to that log for several years, and I had actually finished off the end of it like this. And then I finally decided, okay, I just have to cut it off and figure out what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. And then I started figuring out angles, and then the two pieces that are pointed are actually made out of birch, and there were one piece that I cut in half and then put angles on. And so that's the piece, and it's on black acacia base that I had already done. So a lot of this work was already done. I was just kind of putting it together, and it was just laying around in my workshop. So it's just kind of getting it together.
Looks like Bird of Paradise. Looks like Bird of Paradise.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
People on Facebook have called it Bird of Paradise. When I was originally making it, I was going for like a bird flying or whatever, and so I just thought emergence from whatever, and I kind of came up with the name before I ended up finishing the piece. So fun piece to do.
I have a piece called
The upper left could be a hummingbird.
It's lovely. Thank you, Scott.
Just taking off.
This piece is 24 by 24, and it was inspired by a sculpture that I saw at a museum. And the reason for the close-up view is because I've got a lot of texture that you don't really see if you're looking at the straight-on view. It's got a lot of sgraffito in it, a lot of collage, and pen and ink work. Oh, it's called a delicate component as well. It's a delicate component, and the sides, which you can't see, are painted a burnt umber to pick up these kind of orangey spots of color in the background.
I'm speechless every time you send something. I just love the way it's kind of monochromatic or neutral colors, and yet you've got just the right amount of the copper color in there. And I think I also adore the way you've got these sharp vines coming out that give it the contrast that it needs because the background is so muted. It's beautiful. I love the color choice.
Chris,
Chris.
were
Thank
those
you.
wires in the sculpture?
Yes, there
Yeah,
were wires in the sculpture.
yeah, neat.
Real wires. Wow.
Very
Real
innovative.
wires in the actual sculpture. But what I painted that is with acrylic paint pens.
Oh, yeah. You know, that is so commonplace. And I'm sure, Chris, you're seeing that as you travel around. Anymore, the calligraphy and what you referred to as sgraffito and that kind of thing is so popular in the contemporary paintings now. You see it all over the place. And
It
it
is.
has nothing to do with composition. It has nothing to do with the statement of the piece for the most part. It's just there. Am I not correct, Chris?
I agree. I think it also breaks up a big
Yes.
chunk of white
I do
space.
too.
Yeah.
I do
So
too.
this is, I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, it does not distract me at all because I see it as a part of the color scheme.
That was my intent.
Masterpiece.
It is not distracting,
thank you.
in my opinion.
Thanks.
Good, okay. Flattery works, everybody. Flattery works.
Welcome to Jerry. This is her
Oh.
beautiful
Oh, wow.
tempered glass and copper.
Wow.
Wow.
Like a rebirth in a way, coming out of the trees. And it's the glass I use in the background is like shattered glass when you break a shattered glass, and then I glue them up there for like background.
I wanted you to see this.
So, and there's
Did you work on it did you work on it horizontally first before you hung it?
oh, I work on my plan. First of all, I kind of draw a little bit of what I'm going to do, and then I let it flow. You know, I center it, like I'll center exactly where the pot is, so I get it centered. And then I kind of let it grow after that, and it grew into this.
Mhm.
And it's all different kinds of glass.
It's magnificent. How long did it
Wonderful.
take to do this?
You know, they take longer than you might think because I have to clip every one of those pieces of glass, or I mean, they don't. I make the shapes as I go along, so I have to clip it or cut it.
Mhm.
And it takes quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
But you know, it isn't long for me, but it's long for somebody
Very nice.
who doesn't like to do it.
Well, it's worth it.
And I like that how you did the base of the plant, that glass that you use, that's glass, right?
It's all
The bra-
glass.
It's wonderful because it has a three-dimensional look. I know it's three-dimensional anyway, but you picked such a wonderful glass to make it look like it's coming, like a bowl.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Thank you. It's kind of fun. It's like painting, but you have to find the glass that looks like how you would paint it.
Right, wonderful.
Very intricate.
Yeah. Yeah. TLC, tender loving care, is how you compose that. Thank you,
It's
Jerry.
kind of fun. If you like to do something, it kind of comes and you enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll get to see this.
I've been doing a series of these, and I want to enter the summation and the jazzercise. And what I entered in for was to get some suggestions from you folks as to what sort of name for a theme and titles for these things. I can send better pictures of each one in, and in fact, one or two of them we've already reviewed. So if anybody has a suggestion, or your friend in Florida, Scott, I would appreciate it, because I don't know that I've come up with some sort of threads as one thing, but I'm not sure what I should call them.
Patchwork of color.
Well, did not Mondrian work in this fashion? Could it be remembering Mondrian or something?
He did to a certain extent. His lines are all straight. There's no dingle dangles on the outside. There's very few that I saw that had curvature of any sort in them, and the freedom of the lines.
Okay.
How about contemporary patchwork?
Good. That's great.
Okay, thank you.
Got it, Barry?
Yeah.
They're beautiful. It's a good way for you to work.
These are all
are.
what is it? 14, 18 by 14 or something, but I've
It
got
says
two
20 by
big ones.
16. It said 20
Yeah.
by 16 right there.
Yeah, and I've got, oh yes, sorry. And I'm doing two with a lot more color, big ones to submit to Jazzercise by
Yeah.
the end of the month, right?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. Thanks, Barry.
They're nice.
Okay, mine is really quick. Do you remember last week, last time we met? This is my digital art for Jazzercise, and this was the final thing.
Mhm.
And Scott suggested that I try and pull it upward. And so the next slide will show you what I did because of Scott. And I think that one is better, but I'm still undecided. But and here's what Scott and I came up with.
I like the first one.
I
Me
like
too.
I like the
Go
first
back to the
one.
first one.
First one.
I like the
Can you go
second.
back, Joan?
Out, but I like
Yeah,
it too.
I like the first one too.
Okay,
Yep.
that's all I needed. And that's my time.
Me
Michael.
too.
Okay, this is another one of my round ones. It's smaller than the other ones. It's about 16 inches for the canvas, 20 inches overall diameter. It's loosely based on African tribal symbols. And my only comment is I'm thinking about maybe the off-white background, maybe putting a narrow frame in the dark blue all the way around the background color. I don't know what the rest of you think about that, but maybe it needs a frame around the light yellow color.
No.
I love it.
Okay.
Same here. I would leave it.
Just
No,
learning.
I don't think it needs the outline.
What'd you say, Barry?
I don't think it needs the outline.
Okay, okay.
No, I don't either.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's mine. And
Nice.
I wish I did this years ago, when I really just went back to oil painting. And now, of course, I wish it was much bigger because I think it would look really wonderful with those kind of flowing, scarves or whatever. But I liked it's obviously multimedia because I've got the black is cloth, folded over, and I wrote "Your slip is showing," which I thought was a cute title. And it's
That's
small. And I like.
beautiful.
Is it a collage then?
Not really. I don't know.
No.
What's the difference between multimedia and collage? I mean, they're both the
No.
same, right?
No.
This lace thing, the fact that you attach this lace, this physical lace on top of your painting would constitute a collage.
Right.
Okay, well then it's a collage. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
I knew that.
I know you can.
It's lovely. Your slip is your ship is showing.
Your slip is showing. I thought that was, I like it.
It's very
I love
nice.
it, Eileen. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I like it too. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the painting originally. I submitted the one on the right for comments, and this is how it ended up
Much
on the left. I call it inconsistent.
Very good.
Love it.
And I added, I did what Freya was mentioning about the circles. I knew I wanted to do something, so I added more thickness to it and just give it a bigger dynamic look to it.
Great.
I
Great.
love the interruption of the circles.
Yeah, great movement in that one.
Yeah, lot of movement.
Yeah.
I think it's one of your best pieces. Pico.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's exceptional use of color, a great
Mm-hmm.
composition.
Yeah.
This is the longest time I took on an abstract. I usually do them very quick in one setting. This took me weeks to do because I kept playing with it.
What did you use to make the circles?
Oh, I have these round aluminum things that I can kind of like trace over it, and then I start making circles out of them.
I'm very impressed. The minute you sent this to me, I was just amazed you could turn this thing here, what we saw last time, into such a beautiful
Yes.
painting here. It's a real great addition. Your transformation of it was really remarkable.
Where's the name come from, Pico?
Inconsistent because there's nothing that's consistent.
It sounds like you're talking about Pico.
No, yeah. So
I think
that's
you
what
should. I think you should entitle it self-portrait.
Well, I've got some self-portraits.
And now Joy sent in 2 things about sheep, and I think
Mm.
I'm just in awe of this watercolor technique. The way the
Wow.
washing and the paper coming through. Go ahead, Joy.
Oh yeah, this I just saw the documentary video about Provence, and I just posted that and the video. I painted this. I like it. I like it.
Well, yeah, I think it's beautiful. And this other one too, the way you've got the paper coming through all over, and then the washy quality of all the way you did all the sheep. I love the wash work you did in here. Masterpiece.
Lovely, lovely.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
Really nice.
Thanks.
Paint the white, or do you leave the white unpainted?
Actually, it's just a little bit white left on the sheep. I put a color on
Okay.
it. Yeah, just get a little white as a highlight.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank
I would have
you.
liked,
You know, Joy, this is a good way to go. I hope you're going to keep this up. It's some of your best work. I love this.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gorgeous.
thank you.
Caldwell, yeah.
Ooh, like
Angst, I guess you can see the name. This was done by a number of people. I did the original underpainting, which was a row of figures. You can see in the left third, maybe
Oh,
the
yeah, right there,
remnants of one of the figures with the
Yeah.
hat, the dark
I don't
blue.
see it.
And the figures went from the left to the right, predominantly
one there, one there.
predominantly a little redder as they went along, all the way to Sienna on the right, and they became a little less precise as we went along. So this was done in 2016, and in 2016, I took it to an election party, and there were 7 people who overpainted it.
Fun.
And
That's
so
cool.
this was a question mark of where we are, and it just seemed really appropriate for
What
Today.
size
Still
is it,
there.
Tara?
it. Is 18 by 24.
It's collaborative work then.
Yes. Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
And only one of the other people really ever did much art.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I love it. The colors go very well.
It's lovely, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
love
don't
it.
know if you get the feel of angst from it, but there's a
yes.
lot of movement.
That's not hard these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great to see your work, Carol. Thanks for sending it.
Mm.
We have so many great watercolorists in this group. I'm really amazed at this.
Really?
Take a workshop from Liam, whatever his name is. She's not on, is she?
It's Robert Woods. She studied under Robert Woods.
Oh, okay.
And she told me that he's a premier watercolor painter in the United States.
Okay.
And he told her that there was nothing more he can teach her.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I own that painting now.
Oh, you do?
I'm
Yes.
jealous. I'm jealous. It's beautiful.
I bought it off of her. The moment I saw it, I said I had to buy it.
Amazing watercolor technique.
I asked the question because a long time ago, Joan's friend Marlene
Oh yeah, yeah.
suggested that was when I thought I was going to do watercolor, suggested that I take this workshop from a guy named Liam something or other, because there was so much of this kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
And he, of course, was an exceptional watercolorist, but it just reminds me of his work. That's why I wondered.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Okay. I need to ask you, Helen sent me this
Yes.
painting on the right, and I did use the photo editing software to see if this might be, which one is the right coloring? Would it be this one on the left, Helen?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and I'm not finished. The one on the left, and I'm finished with it. It needs, and I'd like suggestions if you have any, because I'm still working on it.
Okay. Anybody got
I think it's
suggestions?
finished.
Yeah.
It looks finished to me
What
too now.
What are you not happy with? Yeah.
Well, I thought at the bottom that I could have something more.
No,
No,
Oh, just leave it like
What's-
that.
I think it's perfect.
I was going to submit it to
That's
jazzercise.
I think it's good
So-
as is.
Good.
Yeah.
You
How
wouldn't
big
even.
is it, Helen?
What are you gonna call
All
it?
right, that's a good question. It's going to be some sort of a planet, I think, or outer space thing. I haven't
Undersea.
decided on the name.
Yeah, it
Undersea.
reminds me of water, the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, Helen, if you added anything more to it, I think it would be overdone. You have the right amount of sharp details in the bottom, and then
Yeah.
the right contrasted with the fuzziness back here. I don't think you want to punch it out anymore.
Okay, good. I appreciate it.
Okay. Moving right along, we have 1 minute and 48 seconds. And Ulrika isn't here. She didn't think she could be. And we come to Phyllis's magnificent. We had so much great art this time. I was just so excited.
Today.
Ooh, nice.
This is really great. Phyllis,
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I've been in a real funk and have really not worked in the studio very much. And the long and short of it is that I tried to go in and was going nowhere and trying to work large. So I went back to a smaller piece, and I wasn't planning to do figures, but that's the way it came out. And after
Great.
Joan mentioned last time that she liked the figures so much, I thought, well, what the hell, I'll do figures.
fantastic.
Yeah, really nice.
Phyllis, do you find it easier to paint smaller than larger?
No, I really prefer larger. But what was happening as I was working smaller because I was doing the wax paintings. And I'd done, as I say, about 12 or 15 small paintings. And I kind of got locked into that small format. So when I tried to go larger, I felt I was too tight. And I was really having problems breaking loose again, even though, the pieces I did were very abstract. I just felt like I was.
Beautiful piece.
So that's why this ended up being what it is. And now I've loosened up again and I'm doing jazzercise stuff. So
Are you happy with it, Phyllis?
semi.
It's a masterpiece.